Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on migrating to Microsoft Fabric. I'm Varun Chawla, Technical Program Manager at MEQ Software. As a global technical services provider and a featured partner for Microsoft Fabric, RTI, Cosmos, and Fabric Database, our team is dedicated to delivering measurable results. We are proud to be recognized as Power BI Partner of the Year 2021 and to hold 8 Microsoft specialization credentials that reflect our commitment to excellence. We are focused on helping organizations accelerate their transition to Microsoft Fabric, and with more than 200 successful migrations, we bring proven expertise to every engagement. Let's look at the different migration scenarios that we've encountered. Each organization's journey is unique, but most migrations fall into four key categories. Tenant to tenant migrations usually happen in mergers, acquisitions, or divestitures. Here, business units or entire organizations need to move workloads between Microsoft 365, Fabric tenants, operational, analytical, and reporting platforms. The second one is the lift and shift migration. Organizations are looking to move workloads from on premises to the cloud, typically as part of a broader digital transformation. It focuses on migrating data and workloads with minimal changes. Sometimes only a single component, such as a data warehouse, reporting tool, or analytics engine, is migrated, while other components remain unchanged. This is the platform migration. Finally, we have the most comprehensive migration, the enterprise analytics transformation. This isn't just a technical migration, it's a reimagining of how the data flows, is governed, and is consumed across the organization. These projects span multiple business units and involve a complete overhaul of the data landscape. Today, we will look at a large retail customer that we worked with. They have over 500 physical stores and were generating 20 GB of data per day. This data came in from point of sale systems, inventory systems, loyalty apps, e commerce platforms, and third party tools. They were also using multiple reporting solutions, Tableau, SRS, with end users extensively using Excel for their reporting and analytics. Here's a simplified view of this solution architecture. As we looked at the data landscape to understand the system and identify dependencies, we came across multiple issues. Different teams were implementing their own solutions with no consistency in design, tools, or best practices. Governance was also a huge concern as different teams were pulling data from different tools and managing their own systems. End users using Excel for analytics led to inconsistent KPIs and conflicting dashboards. From our experience, we knew that having a multi year modernization plan would not work with the challenges and the moving parts in the solution. We broke our approach into 6 phases. We start by understanding the why. We looked at both the short term and long term motivations. We started with identifying and helping the customer define clear objectives and motives for the migration. Involving business teams early was crucial. Since the solution has to be a combined decision between IT and business, we defined a pilot to meet certain business objectives and evaluate IT criteria. This helped us demonstrate Microsoft Fabric capabilities, build stakeholder confidence, and uncover challenges early before scaling the solution to the entire organization. Based on this, we were able to define a final solution architecture and build a project plan. Then we got to the actual migration. We automated the pieces previously documented and optimized for cost and performance. We refined the solution for scalability, operational excellence, and AI readiness, ensuring it meets the current needs while remaining extensible for future requirements. Post the migration, we set up monitoring and governance solutions to manage costs, define security and compliance patterns, and evaluate performance. We also set up operational dashboards and alerting mechanisms. Finally, we help the customer establish a Fabric Center of Excellence. We standardized processes, documented best practices, and conducted trainings. This COE acts as a hub for innovation, upskilling, and continuous improvement to drive strategic initiatives. As we work with the business, We identified multiple objectives for migration. The on premise system had limitations for scalability and elasticity. Operations and maintenance overhead costs were very high. Having disparate systems with the lack of ability to support real time sources and reporting was another huge concern. Limited capabilities of tools like SSRS with the lack of interactive dashboards, collaboration, and sharing led to slower time to value. The organization wanted to establish a unified data platform, breaking down data silos and enabling seamless data flow across the organization. With this, decision makers would be able to gain faster and more reliable access to insights. They also wanted to upskill teams in Power BI to allow self serve analytics, democratize data access, and foster a data driven culture. The migration should also set the stage for real time analytics, machine learning, and generative AI integration to improve productivity. For the pilot, we picked up one complex end to end implementation and restructured it to a data product. We set up a centralized managed workspace for data processing and separate consumption workspaces to enable self serve analytics. We evaluated scale, security, and self serve capabilities of Fabric. Given that Fabric is an evolving product, we created a list of limitations and capabilities available in preview. We also created alternative solution options for these. The leadership was convinced with the outcomes and the long term vision enabled by Microsoft Fabric. During the planning and design phase, we worked very closely with their admins, InfoSec, and compliance teams. We understood the backup and disaster recovery requirements, data sharing, security, and access control mechanisms. We also helped the team define privacy, security, governance, and compliance practices to align with their requirements and best practices. Given the experience with conflicting KPIs, high quality data was non negotiable, and we would need to implement processes for data validation, cleansing, enrichment to support reliable analytics and reporting. As part of the solution design, we presented two design patterns, the Medallion implementation and the data mesh implementation. These differ in centralized versus federated data strategy. Given the previous experience with data quality issues, the customer wanted to go with a centralized pattern. Here, we recommended the Medallion implementation. The final solution would publish certified datasets and lakehouses for the analytics and reporting teams to consume. With the Microsoft Capacity Estimator, we are able to get directional guidance on capacity sizing. However, we do not suggest with going with a single large capacity. We set up capacity split across workloads with data ingestion and storage on one capacity and data engineering workloads on the other. Along with this, there was a separate capacity to manage the analytics and reporting workloads. An isolated capacity was used by the Center of Excellence team to try out new features. After validation, these were pushed to the production workloads. As part of the pilot, we had identified components that could be automated. The data ingestion and processing mechanism was one of them. Having a framework establishes consistent and repeatable processes for moving data from the source to the target system. It reduces manual intervention and efforts. Having a common ingestion pattern also simplifies maintenance and troubleshooting. This allows the customer to handle increasing data volumes and velocity without performance degradation. It established a standard process, reduced development time, and effort for new ingestion processes. It has monitoring and logging capabilities integrated to give visibility into the health and performance of the system. Data cleansing and processing are the most complex and time consuming implementations of a data platform. We built a data processing framework that simplified this process. All of the configurations are maintained in the single place with generic query or notebooks, which extracts the complex steps, allowing the team to focus on business logic implementation. The framework supports optimization techniques like partitioning, Z ordering, setting Spark properties, and defining V ordering in the correct places. This allows the developers to work on the core business logic without worrying about standards. Another issue for this customer were the disparate sources. For this, we built a notebook migration utility to consolidate all the logic from SQL, Oracle, and Databricks into Fabric. This accelerator would take the existing logic and input and generate a Fabric notebook which would process and ensure the same output. It supports both Spark SQL and PySpark for data processing. With this, the migration journey for the customer was eased and manual efforts were reduced drastically. Another goal was to bring all of the reporting solutions into Power BI. Once the workspaces were set up, we built a solution accelerator to migrate Tableau reports to Power BI. The accelerator extracts Tableau metadata and identifies similarities between reports. This allows to reduce the reporting footprint and avoid duplication. Finally, it would generate a PBIP file which has both the semantic model and the visualizations in the report. Also, as part of the migration process, it would create a summary which gives a list of the components that weren't migrated successfully. This requires manual intervention for quick fixes and DAX updates. Any data lake is only useful as long as it guarantees data quality. Based on the experience, the customer was paranoid about data quality. We built a data quality framework on top of operational logs and data, which ensured high quality data made it to the certified layer. This allowed for basic checks like nullability and data type validations, while also being extensible to support complex business queries and logic. It also tracked changes at the source for anomaly detection to stop incorrect data from flowing into the system. A unified reporting platform allowed clear visibility into data gaps, misses, and refresh failures. With the broad data landscape, it was essential to have a strong governance policy in place. Microsoft Fabric, with its integration to Purview, brings this to the forefront with unified catalog to view and manage metadata. Purview integration also enables information protection to allow data discoverability, classification, and protect data using sensitivity labels. It also extends to data consumption in other Microsoft Office 365 products like Excel. As part of the Center of Excellence, in addition to documentation and training, we built an accelerator that would ease the admin workload. This agent based solution scans all the artifacts in the Fabric tenant and ensures compliance to governance standards. It keeps track of resource tagging and sensitivity labels. It also tracks anomalies in CU consumption and suggests actions based on specific findings. Tenant admins can control which actions should be executed autonomously by the agent, allowing for near real time and quick fixes to ensure data and security compliance. It also supports the ability for admins to manually intervene and the agent to wait for admin approval before proceeding with the next step in the workflow. With the move of reporting to Power BI, we need to ensure standards and compliance. Also, we need to ensure the reports are using the capacity efficiently. Here, our Certifast Solution Accelerator comes into play. It reviews the semantic model for table optimizations like column changes, syntax errors, and promotes AI readiness by ensuring synonyms and descriptions are filled in. It also reviews the DAX queries for optimizations. It has a lineage view that allows for dependency tracking and impact analysis for any changes to be made in the semantic model. With the large number of semantic models created by automation, it was necessary to generate documentation. This tool documents the tables, parameters, columns, measures, and security rules within the Power BI report to ensure that all implementations are documented as per the standard. A key goal was to ensure that the data and analytics platform is future ready. This starts by making the semantic models copilot ready. Power BI has a few capabilities out of the box that enable this. The first step is to simplify the data schema. This isn't about deleting fields from the model, but ensuring that Copilot can quickly surface the right answers without getting lost in irrelevant fields. Next, we add verified answers and business specific prompts. This optimizes the Copilot responses for the organization's unique needs by giving it context of the business. Lastly, we add synonyms which allow Copilot to understand alternative terms used within the business processes. Metadata curation is key to helping Copilot understand field significance. Now, we'll look at the best practices and learnings from Fabric migrations. The most crucial is workload planning and isolation. We need to optimize data processing while ensuring that reporting is not impacted by this. For data processing, we stage data as Parquet with optimal row file settings. The stage data does not need to be reordered. We enable native execution engine for complex transformations and use optimize writes for partition tables. For reporting, we remove unused columns and tables, avoid many-to-many bidirectional relationships, and use variables in complex DAX measures. We enable referential integrity for direct query or dual mode relationships, which allows the Power BI engine to optimize for query performance. Let's look at the architecture that powered the organization transformation. Data ingestion and storage was in a single workspace. A separate data processing workspace stored the environments, notebooks, and machine learning models. A centralized workspace was used to manage configurations in the Fabric SQL database and logs for all the frameworks in a KQL database. Update policies on the KQL database enabled real-time monitoring in the dashboard and alerting. Reporting and publish workloads were isolated from the data processing landscape. This was enabled by creating a shortcut based lakehouse and creating direct lake semantic models on top of the reporting lakehouse. All of this with Microsoft Purview, Azure DevOps, and Key Vault integration ensured that the solution was built from the ground up with security and compliance built in. Let's look at the outcomes for this organization. Before Fabric, data lived in silos, scattered across systems, each with its own technical implementation. Scaling was slow, and advanced analytics and AI was limited at best. With the enterprise analytics transformation, the customer had a single consolidated data lake for the entire organization, consumable in a manner that is agnostic of the query language. With Copilot integration, users can simply chat with the data. The data democratization is real with certified datasets and self service capabilities in Power BI, meaning anyone can access the insights when they need them. Security and compliance is centralized, with Purview being the one place to manage and define data protection. In every big tech transition, it's easy to get excited about the possibilities, but overlooking details can lead to major headaches down the road. First is storage and feature availability. GA dates for Fabric features will determine which storage and feature options we have available. Don't get locked in too early and be open to using Azure services like SQL databases for configurations. Another crucial aspect is workspace and capacity management. Storing everything on the same workspace in a single capacity is a recipe for chaos. We also need to rethink the data strategy. We need to identify and plan to implement high value real time scenarios. Remember, there is no AI without RTI. Here's a quick overview on how we engage with our customers on their journey to Microsoft Fabric. We start with envisioning, where we get to know the customer, understand their needs, goals, and business vision. Next, we have the proof of concept, where we validate solution feasibility, test key functionality and performance, and identify potential risks and challenges. Customer feedback is critical and it helps us refine the solution. Next, we have the pilot engagement, where we run limited user group scenarios and baseline performance, assess costs, and define a timeline for full implementation. Wrapping up with how you can take the next step in your Microsoft Fabric journey. Whether you're looking to envision, build an MVP, or launch a full implementation, our team is ready to partner with you. Book our 2-hour briefing to understand Microsoft Fabric, a 4-week assessment for your organization's readiness, and if you're ready to accelerate your adoption, Our 8-week Center of Excellence implementation will get you there fast. All of these offers are available on the marketplace. Alternatively, you can reach out to us at customer success at MEQ Software. Thank you for your time, and hopefully, we are able to help you align your business vision with technical solutions and scale your success.